Hey guys, I'm here to do my John Carpenter collection. John Carpenter, in my opinion, is the director that is probably the most underrated. He has had a lot of criticism in his someone like 40 years of the film business, and he's made almost every single one of his movies is good, no matter what anybody says, except for maybe one movie that I can think of that's shit. But John Carpenter, he's one of the few directors that directs, writes, and does the music, and produces. But, I have my John Carpenter collection. There's still some that I don't own, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, I do have two on tape, and the last one I'll get to later. The first one is Village of the Damned. This is the movie that I was talking about that is complete bullshit. This movie sucks. I mean, Christopher Reeve is in this, and this was his last movie that he made before he was in his accident that became him paralyzed. And Kirstie Alley is in this. Kirstie Alley was in the TV show Cheers. This is a remake of the 1960 movie. This movie is very mediocre. It's not a good movie at all, in my opinion. I don't have any, immediate thoughts to buy this on DVD, but I watched it because it had John Carpenter's name on it, and it's okay. I'll give it that, but it could have been so much better. The Thing. Terrific, 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 terrific movie. Has great music, even though John Carpenter does not do it. It's violent, it's gory, the effects are amazing, and it features Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was in like 4 or 5 of John Carpenter's movies. He's really good. This is probably my favorite Carpenter movie. I absolutely love this. The Fog. Now, The Fog is the movie that he made after his immediate success of Halloween. And this is more of like a ghost story, because Halloween was a slasher movie. This is more of a ghost story. Features Jamie Lee Curtis and Janet Leigh, who is Marion Crane in Psycho, and Adrienne Barbeau, who is John Carpenter's then wife. Really good music by Carpenter, and it's a good movie. Don't listen to what anyone says about John Carpenter's work. This is a good movie. Halloween. Probably the most famous movie John Carpenter has ever directed. Probably the most famous horror movie ever. Features Jamie Lee Curtis in her first feature film role. P.J. Soles, who was also in Carrie and Rock and Roll High School. And we have Nancy Loomis, who was also in The Fog, and she was also in this other Carpenter movie, which I'll get to in a moment. Very scary, very suspenseful, and again, the music is amazing. Vampires. Pretty much after the failure of Village of the Damned and Escape from LA, which I'll get to in a minute. This came out in 1998, and people loved it. It's violent, has good vampire action. It features James Woods. I don't really like James Woods. He's kind of weird. Very good movie. It took me by surprise at how good it was. You can only get this movie in full screen, which really pissed me off. I hate full screen DVDs. That, and I hate double-sided discs. And I believe none of these are double-sided discs, so John Carpenter did good on that. But very good vampire movie. Very, very good. Christine. Based on the book by Stephen King. Again, the music is terrific. Pretty much after when The Thing came out, it did so bad when it came out. He made this for money, and it was really successful when it came out. This was the movie that had the most curse words in it until Scarface came out that same year. Very good, very good. John Carpenter has this huge trend of making movies that did terrible at the box office, but they end up becoming classics in home video, so that's kind of his curse. Escape from LA. This is the sequel to Escape from New York, and it features Kurt Russell. It's still very good. Don't listen to what anybody says. It's still good. It has music by Carpenter, and it's basically the same exact movie, only it takes place farther in the future, and Kurt Russell is older. It's still really good. Someone's Watching Me. This was a TV movie that John Carpenter made in like 77 or 76, but wasn't released until after Halloween came out. And this was like the lost Carpenter movie. This one in this one in Elvis. And this is not a very good movie. It also features Adrienne Barbeau, and it has the feel of a Hitchcock movie. Like the opening credits, you can especially tell. For a TV movie in the 70s, it's pretty good, but it's not very suspenseful or anything like that. It's nowhere near a classic, but it's still pretty decent. Ghosts of Mars. This was his final theatrical film to date until The Ward in 2010. This came out in 2001, and it features Ice Cube and Natasha Henstridge. It's basically kind of like a western that takes place on Mars. And, again, this movie did terrible when it came out, but there are people that like this movie. People say if you don't like this, then you're not a fan of John Carpenter, and I think that's true. This is John Carpenter all over it, and really if you don't like this movie, then you're probably not a huge fan of Carpenter. Because, I mean, Ice Cube said this was the worst movie he was ever in, and Ice Cube was a rapper. He's not a good actor, so, he can go fuck himself. But it's still a good movie. Big Trouble in Little China. Kurt Russell is in this, and it came out in 1980. I think it was 1986, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. But it got this for Easter one year. I got a bag of candy, and I got Big Trouble in Little China. My dad loves this movie, and I thought it was kind of crap when it came out. Or when my dad gave it to me. But I learned to love it, and it's funny, and it's got amazing martial arts, fight scenes in it, and it's funny. It's really funny. Assault on Precinct 13. This was John Carpenter's first theatrically released movie that he made. He did make a student film called Dark Star that did get released in theaters, but this was his first movie specifically made for the theater. This movie is intense. It has great music. For a movie made in 1976, it is violent. It's bloody. This is the first movie to ever show the graphic killing of a child. And it's pretty graphic, actually. I guess for 76. This is a great movie. I mean, this also features Nancy Loomis, who was also in Halloween and The Fog. Great movie by John Carpenter. This is, one of his, raw classics. This is John Carpenter. My final one is Escape from New York, which I also own on VHS tape. But Escape from New York is probably my second favorite John Carpenter movie. Really, this and the Thing and Halloween are my favorites. This movie, out of all the Carpenter movies, I believe this one has the best music. This one or Halloween. I mean, this movie is kind of famous for its music, and the idea, I'm going to tell you what the idea of this one is, because I love it so much. It takes place in the future, and it's about how New York is a prison for convicts. People who don't follow the rules, and it says the rules are simple. Once you go in, you don't come out. And Kurt Russell is in this, and he has to go in to rescue the president, played by Donald Pleasence. And, it also features Ernest Borgnine, Adrienne Barbeau, and Harry Dean Stanton. Terrific movie. Oh, God, I love this movie. My dad introduced me to this movie, too. A lot of these movies, my dad introduced me to them. He grew up with, these movies, especially, Halloween and The Thing and all these. And I first saw it on tape. And I found this deluxe edition at my favorite used DVD store, and this has a shitload of bonus features on it for a very cheap price. I only got this for $5, and really good DVD release. And this is gold right here. This is a really good movie. But that's my Carpenter collection. The ones that I don't have, I still don't have, like, Prince of Darkness, Elvis, They Live. I don't have Village of the Damned on DVD, The War, Dark Star, Starman. I've seen all of them except for Dark Star and Starman. But, again, all of his movies are good, especially They Live. I'd have to do a review on that one, because that one was really amazing. But that's my Carpenter collection. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you, after watching this, you learn to appreciate John Carpenter, because he truly is a totally underrated director, in my opinion. But that's my Carpenter collection, and just tune in later, guys.